I mean, imagine the first thing that you do when things get a little bit hard in America, when things get a little bit hard in your country under Trump, the first thing you do is go online and ask the world to come and help you. The world that nobody helped when you were doing far worse to them than what's being done to you right now, than what you're doing to each other right now. Your first instinct is to ask someone else to deal with it for you. You want to outsource your own resistance because you have no moral grounding. You know, you're digging your heels in, right? You like to say you're 10 toes in, standing on quicksand. You're standing on nothing but quicksand. I mean, you're talking about release the list, right? The Epstein list, release the files and so on. Why? Why? You already know a huge number of people who were associated with Epstein. Clinton, Dershowitz, Chomsky, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, Peter Thiel. So what? What have you done about it? Nothing. What have you done? So why would any more names make a difference if you got more names? What's the difference? It's just more people that you won't do anything about, more crimes that you won't do anything about. You know, you just keep asking for the files, actually, as a way to justify or to rationalize you not doing anything. You know, like, if only we had the files, we'd take action. Too bad they won't release the files, otherwise we would go completely ballistic. No one believes you. You're not fooling anyone. It's like those old cartoons, right, where they draw a line on the floor and tell their enemy, if you cross this line, you'll be sorry. And it keeps getting crossed. He just steps right over it, and then you just keep drawing a new line. This is you. This is the American people right now. I mean, look at all of the hideous things that have come out in the last several months or the last couple of years about the elite. During the Diddy trial, for example, all the testimonies, all the trafficked women, and then what? All the testimonies around Epstein, and then what? Now you have this Sasha, what's his name? Sasha Ryan, talking about all the terrible things that's supposed to have happened to him. Nothing happened. ICE raids, nothing happened. ICE murders, nothing happens. You've got lynchings, nothing happens. ICE murdering people literally in the street, nothing happens. Why on earth would they be afraid to release the Epstein files when you have given them every possible assurance that you will reliably not do anything whatsoever? You've shown that, you've proven that time and time again, except maybe you'll go on the internet and send a vague SOS to the rest of the world about all the bad things that are happening over there. You've got tens of thousands of kids being abducted in your country and trafficked every year in your country. Tens of thousands of kids, one of the highest rates in the world. Meanwhile, supposedly you've got cameras everywhere. Supposedly your phones are watching and listening to everything, listening to you. They know what you're looking at. They know what you're, they know where you are. They know what you're thinking and so on, just to send you ads and whatnot. But meanwhile, children keep disappearing without a trace. What are you doing about it? You've got all these guns. You've got all this bravado. I'm telling you, they're going to end up, ICE is going to have to end up having some of their officers take off their masks and start posing as their own opposition groups just to make it look like you people are actually responding to anything. Wallahi, you're comatose. You're absolutely comatose. This is what I mean. No moral grounding, no real moral framework, no real moral structure. You don't know what morality is supposed to look like in practice, because in practice, doing nothing against oppression and against injustice, doing nothing is approval when you talk about practical morality. But okay, let's say that you do the work individually. Let's say that you actually do the work individually. Well, then the next thing, obviously, the next thing is going to be doing work on the community level. And I've talked about this many, many times. You need to start building parallel structures, parallel networks, parallel power systems, ecosystems. You're not going to capture state institutions. That's not going to happen. They exist to prevent capture by the population. The best that you can do is to build alternative structures that meet your people's needs outside the state systems, outside the state structures. Mutual aid networks that don't rely on NGO funding or government grants and so forth. Alternative education systems, homeschooling networks, study circles, skill sharing, and so on. You need to try to build local food systems, community gardens, farmer cooperatives, direct purchasing, group purchasing, and so forth. You need alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, community mediation, restorative justice circles, and so on. And obviously, you need alternative media. To a great extent, we've already got some of that. You need local publications, study groups, community radio, and so on. You need economic cooperation, tool libraries, time banks, worker cooperatives, and so forth. All of these things you can set up. These are all things that I've talked about at length before. This is you creating strategically independent community infrastructure that can actually reduce your dependence upon the system, the system that you are never going to be able to control. And it's going to create some space for you where potentially different values can be practiced and defended. Wallahi, I'm telling you, this is your only chance. Stop thinking that you can change the system and start building your own. Because the truth is, as long as you are not building alternative structures, parallel structures, as long as you're not doing that, it means that you're still holding on to the illusion that the system has just gone astray. You're still holding on to the illusion that you can somehow set it right again. But that's not happening. That's not going to happen because it was never right to begin with. You need to end your relationship with your abuser and stop pretending that going to couples therapy is going to change anything. That abuser is what he is, and he's always going to be that way.